in Villanueva. I am a practicing ceramicist. My background is in communication design. Ceramics was a form of relaxation for me. I guess it helps my mind sort of be at ease and in the present. I took it on as a hobby. I was fortunate enough to have access to it, so it was a far more accessible hobby for me back then. They are porcelain vases that the shapes aren't planned. It's sort of just, when I make vases, it's sort of just a freestyle form. So the only thing that's pre-calculated is the weight of the clay, but everything else will just take shapes as I make it. I think ultimate goal as a maker is to be able to impact some sort of change in, I guess, like not necessarily just in the ceramics community, but just in the community in general, being able to give access to creative spaces to everybody. I guess that just goes back to being able to impact someone's life through making and be able to create change within the community through something I love doing. No, I don't. I mean, I think a lot of people just, when they hear ceramics and pottery, is just functional, but any form that you make on the wheel, they're sculptural pieces. I mean, they're just either you could use it as a functioning object or you could use it as sort of a display or a form of art. I think any form of creativity is important. It depends on how a person takes it, right? I mean, creativity is just a form of being able to express your ideas and manifesting them in reality, and ceramic just seems to be another form of that. I'm not really particularly proud of any work. I think what I'm mostly proud of is the objective of the studio, and it's the things that it has achieved in terms of who we've given access to or who we've introduced ceramics to. And I think any ceramicist can relate to this. A nail clipper. I don't think so. I mean, your hands are your most important tools, but you could make ceramics with or without any of that. Water and clay, I guess. Throwing. Yeah, you're pretty much taking this lump of clay and you are forming something with it. It places you in a position where you have to clear your mind, you have to relax your body, you have to control your breathing, and you have to directly communicate not just through your body, but with the clay itself. I'm not so sure. I mean, there's so many, like I said, it's not necessarily the object itself that influences me. I think it's more like when I know about the artist's personality, the things that they've gone through. I could particularly like an artist based on their personality or what they've done, but not necessarily through what they've made. I base it on, obviously, material. There are those like fees that is sort of just like in the back of it that people don't think about, like having to be able to like pay for my space. but I price it according to the time that I've spent on it and how much of it I produce. I mean, if it's a functional object, like a cup or a plate that I produce many of, then the prices are, it could range from like $35 to $100. But when it comes to hand building items, those things, you can never reproduce it in the same exact form. So that takes more time, and that's something I rarely do. Then I price them at a higher price. Yeah. During the peak of the pandemic, when it all started, I went from being able to support my living through ceramics, and within just a day, it had to completely shut down. Yeah.
But
it was, but I think it definitely put the studio in a different direction in terms of my focus was just making myself financially stable. It's just a selfish way of living, and now it just brought more attention as to like what an objective is of a person running a business within the community.
So like, what do you feel now? How do you feel now about having a new studio? Is it a new studio space or the same? But having
it's a bigger space, definitely. When we opened up again, it definitely grew bigger, and that is through the support of the community. And I think it's just, and I don't know how it is, but I feel that the more that I give to the community, they give back in 10 times fold. More cautious making, I guess. Like if you're making an object, you have to think about its longevity. If it's functional objects, is it, you want it to stay in someone's home, you want it to have its longevity in someone's home, you want them to have put a lot of value, or I guess value into it. I mean, it also has driven me to the idea that someone will value an object if they made the object themselves. So I value the workshops or the things that come out of the workshop more than anything else, really. I'm not so sure. I feel like sometimes I'm a bit of an outsider in the ceramics industry just because it wasn't really my background. In terms of the ceramics history, I'm going to be honest, I'm not too familiar with it. I just take it on as it goes, and I meet new artists along the way, and I make connections with them and I learn about them, but not necessarily I know much about the history. I found it was quite restrictive in approaching your process because it's always just so subjective. Yeah. They judge it based on what they like. You're not really based on, or you're not really being critiqued on the technical aspect of it. Yeah. But I find there's less guidance. There's definitely less guidance, and I felt like, I mean, I was only in the ceramics room for like two semesters, but I definitely didn't feel a lot of guidance through the process. It's pretty much like, here's the project and go at it. Don't fuck it up. Yeah. I'm communication design, so I was working as a graphic designer.
And how did you like that?
I like it in some sense, but the thing that I really like about graphic design is package design. So I figured I'd like the three-dimensional aspect in terms of making rather than like the 2D aspect of it. And then it was just more that I find that I'm able to implement the communication design aspect on it through ceramics. Like last time someone asked me, it's like, what do you think about the form? Or how do you make the form? And then I don't know if it was fully understood, but the form is sort of like a good typography, right? There has to be like a good flow in like your collection of one piece, that there has to be a balance between sharpness and softness, but I don't think that was fully taken in the interview before. But yeah, so I see it as another form of communication design. Is just you have just now this like clay material. Yeah. A lot of like posters and a lot of book design, a lot of two-dimensional work. I mean, at the time, like my studio access was it was hard.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to actually make something that's more three-dimensional, like woodworking, I had no access to a wood shop, and I had no access to like a ceramic studio, and all these just came after meeting someone who had access to it, and then going to Emily Carr and then being able to be more exposed to the printmaking, the photography, and all that other stuff. So you might have all these ideas, but your access is so limited that the only thing that I had access to was Adobe and my computer. So it had nothing but two-dimensional. Yeah.